Welcome to the Entrepreneurial CPA Show, where we're here to take a deep dive into knowledge needed to break free the box and become the world-changing entrepreneurs we know you want to be. As always, we got to hit you up with the theoretical and the practical skills to punch above your weight. Because Dr. Sean, if he knows anything, it's how to box. I'm Garrett here, keeping you grounded in the theoretical, being balanced by the master of options, master of knowledge, master of all things blockchain related, Dr. Sean, the man that does not sleep. Today's show is brought to you by our amazing sponsors. Prolera, remind you that CPE doesn't have to be a grind. Hay and Rock Solutions, providing the roadmap to advisory services. We also partner with them on another show, A Look in the Future. Check that out. And finally, Accounting Fly, who helps you find the job you want in the industry. On today's show, we're going to talk about a passion of mine. We're going to talk about the challenges when it comes to billable hours in today's CPA firm and how it's holding us back. So Dr. Sean, as always, kick us off with the theoretical about this conundrum of billable hours.
Awesome, Garrett. Thanks for that. And so the whole concept of billable hours is a concept and an idea and a practice that is deeply embedded into every firm, into every CPA, and honestly into how the whole field operates, right? Because it isn't just us. It's architects, engineers, lawyers. I mean, everybody bills by the hour because that's how it has always worked, right? And so it all comes back to sort of trading, my efforts and my intellectual labor for some cash, right? But I mean, as more and more of those core baseline processes in accounting or in corporate finance are either augmented or automated totally by items like RPA, like AI, or other automation plans, that whole model really is not going to work as good going forward, right? And it all comes down to how much value is the firm actually bringing out to the marketplace, right? I mean, bank recs are awesome. Doing income taxes is a important thing to do, obviously, but all of those baseline functions are increasingly automated. So it really is on us as a field and as individuals to sort of think of a new way to bill and to add some value into the marketplace that actually works with the increasingly automated nature of our work.
Yeah, and as you see, we're seeing these challenges with automation. Like you said, it's a problem that's always been there. And how many clients have you had that problem listening? If you're watching this, how many clients have you had pushback on your fees and kind of said, okay, like this fee doesn't make sense to me, or I'm paid too much for this tax return, too much for this audit, this review, this compilation, whatever it is. And the only way to push back is to be like, well, it took this many hours. Like you give them a detailed billing worksheet of like, here's how many hours each person touched it. But at the end of the day, the hours we spend inside our firms to create a finished product isn't tied to the value the clients perceive of that. They're two totally separate, unrelated issues altogether. And that's why billable hours have just become this huge problem in the industry of how do we pivot away from it? Because that's what it's about. It's not about how much time it takes to go into it. Especially if you can automate it, like Dr. Sean just hit on, some AI, some blockchain, some robotic process automation, those three skills right there, your time goes away. So what's the value to that client? So you really want to think about when you're pricing things out for your clients, what's the value to that client? What's the value that they get out of that? Mm-hmm. Not how much time goes into it on your side. Because I know Dr. Sean, in the practice side, we're running into multiple issues where sometimes it takes us 3 times as long to do a tax return this year. Let's say there was an intern on it, or there was some kind of just internal problem.
Yeah.
And the client doesn't care. The client doesn't care. The client doesn't understand why their bill just went higher because it took us longer to do that. So how do you think firms need to pivot away from that problem of it's purely about time to it's about the value they provide?
No, and honestly, Garrett, I mean, that is an excellent point, right? Because me, as the buyer or as the client, I don't really care who touched it or the hours that were actually spent on the product. All that I care about is, one, that it's done on time, and two, that the actual product is right and accurate. So a good way to sort of phrase this conversation with your clients, current and then also going forward, is to really sort of have that conversation, right? Is to say, okay, fine, I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that your tax return or your audit or your, anything else is done on time and is accurate. Part one. Then part two, here is the tangible value that having this done on time and accurately is adding to your firm and your business. And then say, okay, fine, I'm adding X dollars in value, or I'm saving you X dollars in a compliance cost issue, right? Then, as long as you bill in that range, everything should work. Now, obviously, each firm and each client is obviously different, but I would sort of take it as a sort of, okay, fine, I'm bringing you this much in actual bottom line, actual benefit to you. So, and so then my fee for this value that I'm adding is X, Y.
Well said, well said. And I think something you touched on there just briefly, I'm going to kind of circle back to, is having those conversations up front, kind of like you just said. Talk to that client up front and say, hey, yeah, here's the project. Here's what the cost, the price is going to be.
Yep. And
agree on that ahead of time. And the big thing that I see from the practical standpoint is, are you going to do a little bit of effort, medium effort, or high effort for that client's deliverable? Because each of those efforts, low, middle, and high, have a different price point. And your client's going to be sensitive to that. And your client A might say, yeah, I want this much effort. Client B might say, I want this much effort. Until you talk to them and understand their feeling on it, they're not going to know. So you might do the best possible project up here, and the client's willingness to pay is only down here. Yeah. You've got this huge gap. So that's why one of the best things you can do if you try and move past billable hours is have these conversations up front with your clients. Talk to your clients. Understand how they feel. Understand what they want. Match their wants with what you provide to them. And you'll be really successful. So I want to thank everyone, as always, for tuning in today. And as always, we're going to really challenge you to break away from the broken cycle of billable hours. Just stop doing it. If you have questions on how to start, reach out to us. We're here to help you make this important transition. If you want to keep the learning going at that deeper level and talk about things like your personal brand, how to have vision, how to have the skills you need to be successful, check out our entrepreneurial CPA groups. There's more details on our website. As always, please click the button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, get up to date with the newest episodes when they post. Dr. Shaw, myself, and our other shows on our amazing channel. And just remember, everybody, challenge yourself. Take action today to change the world and invest in yourself.